Howdy, howdy, everyone. Fusion Simulations here. So I am back. In one of my previous videos, I did a tutorial on how to add propane, anhydrous, and dry corn to any map. However, that involved editing XML files, moving files around, something that could be, quite tricky for someone who doesn't have any previous XML experience. And of course, with XML, it's case sensitive. One little thing could throw it all off and not work only because you have a lowercase value instead of an uppercase. So I thought there's got to be a better way to do this, an easier way to do this. And I am happy to show you guys today that I have done just that. I have the Corn Harvest add-on mod that I have been working on, and it is ready to be shown. So firstly, wanted to give a couple quick shout outs to some of the modding community folks that really helped me out. Loki79, Mark Thor, Forward Ag, they really helped me out here. So a huge shout out to those guys. So let's get into what I have. In addition to basically adding the appropriate fill types and spray types that my previous video tutorial did, I also added some storage for it. So first we have, and in talking with some of my UK cohorts, I have learned that these are not quite familiar, this shape. And yes, Legion, I know what it looks like. This is a pretty common thing to see here in the United States. It's vertical liquid gas tanks. So you can see there's one for propane and one for methane. However, they are not two separate placeables. It is one that you can change the decals on. So you come up to this exclamation mark and you say next decal, and you hold down the right mouse button for about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, and it'll change. And then if you want to change it back, you say previous decal, and it changes back. And just to point out, if you don't hold it long enough, it'll change back. And that doesn't mean that it's not working. You just need to hold it down just a little longer and it will change. So if you want to have one for propane and one for methane, you have that option. And instead of just having a blank tank with nothing on it, this adds a little bit more detail. So you have let me flip it back to propane. There we go. So you've got your propane safety decals, flammable safety signs, no smoking, and a little pressure gauge. So this holds 10,000 liters. You can purchase in methane or propane. You can obviously unload from it, and you can load to it. So if you have propane or methane somewhere else that you need to bring in, you certainly have that option. Next, we have the dual tank version. So exactly the same thing. It just holds 20,000 liters instead of 10. And lastly, we have a more traditional, globally recognized, horizontally oriented storage tank. This one is capable of holding anhydrous or liquid fertilizer. So again, if you come up to the exclamation point, hold next decal, hold it for a second or two, you can change it to liquid fertilizer. Now, this one is also intended to act more as a buy point and not a pure storage point. So you can come over here and you can buy in anhydrous or liquid fertilizer, and you can load from it, unload from it, but you can't load to it. Again, it was designed to be acted more as a buy point. So let me know your feedback on that if you would like it to also be able to be stored too. But that is the way that I have done it so far. And as you can see, it holds 40,000 liters. All right. Next, we've got the corn dryer. So this is a corn drying silo with propane as your fuel source. It holds 3 million liters of each of your base grain types. and then it only holds 1.5 million liters of dried corn. And the intent there was that you have to move your dry corn out before you get more corn drying. Basically, like one of these silos is the holder for dry corn, and you can't just keep filling it infinitely. So a little bit more realistic because it moves from one to the other, that kind of approach. And then lastly, we've got the supermarket sell point that has been modified to accept dried corn. One quick thing on Anhydrous. With the release of precision farming, unfortunately, Anhydrous will not work as a fertilizer if you have that mod enabled. So I'll mention this again later on in case you've skipped around the video, that you do hear this, because it's not the mod is broken, it's the current state. Again, if you want to use dry corn and propane, you can certainly continue to use this mod. You can continue to use these storage points, but you cannot use the Anhydrous as a fertilizer. But hopefully somebody in the modding community will figure out a way to get that to work, and then maybe we can incorporate that code change into this in an update. So let's go ahead and get this truck filled up with some propane and demonstrate some of this stuff. So we'll come over to this guy right here. Oops, good thing for those safety bollards. And we'll fill up with propane. We'll let this fill just a little. Okay. And now we'll run this over to the corn dryer. And I should mention that this is the Lizard Universal Tank package that does accept propane and anhydrous. And it is available on the Mod Hub. Unload our propane. And I've already loaded up some corn, so we'll get this out of the way. And then we'll go to our production point here. So we've got corn, we've got propane. Let's activate. And skip time for just a minute. And now we have dried corn. So let's hop in our little tractor here and get this filled with some dried corn. One other thing I did realize I meant to mention is that I did try this on a map that already has dry corn and propane and anhydrous, and it works, and it just simply replaces the icons and doesn't cause any issues that I've seen. At least I tried with Deer Creek and there were no problems. So okay, and now we're loading with dry corn. And also a huge thank you to the farm sim guy who provided me with this nice little dried corn icon. I'm definitely not very good at some of this stuff, so he really helped me out with this. So big thank you, man. And we'll come over to our sell point. Dried corn going in, and let's bring up the prices menu. So if we look at corn, we're currently getting 1,000 per 1,000 liters. If we look at our dried corn, we're getting 1,600 current price per 1,000. So definitely worth going with the dry corn. All right, so the last thing we'll do here is show off using this awesome Seed Hawk and Anhydrous Caddy from Forward Ag. We'll go buy some Anhydrous and run it through the field. All right, ready to fill this up with Anhydrous. this filled up just a little more. Just enough for a little test. Okay. And I will meet you over at the field. Okay, we're at the field, and obviously you in real life would not need to apply Anhydrous with wheat, but this is just a demonstration. So turn on the seeder, and away we go. And you can see the field is being fertilized, and we're going through Anhydrous not at a ridiculously fast rate. So again, this version of the mod will be PC only, because the fill type, spray type for Anhydrous has to be registered with a Lewis script, and not having it there, I would have gone 3 feet and been completely out. So unfortunately, like I said, PC only on this one. I will be submitting a console version, like I said, that will just not have the Anhydrous part. And also, hopefully, we'll get the Anhydrous working with precision farming soon. So there you go. That is the Anhydrous at work. So let's hop back over and run through real quick where to purchase these things. So for the various tanks, they're in container. You've got your propane tank, your dual propane tank, and your Anhydrous tank. Again, this one takes Anhydrous and liquid fertilizer. This one takes, these two each take propane or methane. For the dryer, production factories, and large dryer silo, again, 3 million liters of each of the base crops, base grain crops, and then 1.5 million liter capacity on the dry corn. And then obviously selling point, you have your base supermarket, and then supermarket with dry corn that will accept the dry corn. So that is pretty much it. Just a quick little preview. Still have a couple things to dial in and tweak just a little bit, but this is pretty much ready to be submitted to Giants. So again, gonna give it a shot with submission to Giants, and if that doesn't go well, then I will eventually release this via probably itch.io. So do give a like, comment with any comments you have on this, and definitely subscribe. I will be providing updates on the submission process through the YouTube community channel tab, as well as various Discord channels. So keep an eye out, subscribe to keep an eye out for all of that. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Adios for now.